We've all heard the word meditation. This word invokes many different things in depending upon what we have read about it or what we have practiced. For a few people, it's about calmness, mindfulness, and a lot of people do talk about the quietening of the mind or the silence. Meditation is an art. It's also an art which is based out of, let's say, a mental science. It was discovered centuries ago, and in India, especially, we've had a tradition which has gone through different processes, and many different great teachers have tried to teach this art. And they've written some great scriptures and books about life skills and values and the way we can live a more peaceful, or let's say at more peace, and find a certain calmness, a certain objectivity, and a certain insight into what life is all about. So, in some ways, meditation is a very deep word, and it cannot be expressed except when the person does this process onto himself. We have to do this practice ourselves, and we have to do it with a bit of calmness, and we have to also be alone, because this is a process in which we get into our own self and we observe our own working of the mind. It's like cleaning the inner mirror which we have within ourselves. You see, we judge our own thinking, we learn from the word, we follow certain things which people have expressed, and we find that appealing. It suits our purpose. So, it's a process in which we have to look at the very tool with which we live or experience life. When we were small, when we were children, we used to observe the world because we had very little or very few judgments. We were observers. But as we grow up, experimenting, touch and feel, made us aware of different aspects of life. We also realized our bodily needs simply because of our instincts. But as we grow older, the mind starts to explore many different aspects of life. It also is faced with many challenges, many insecurities, many fears, many expectations. And we suddenly discover that our needs are not fulfilled by just thinking about them, but we need to do something about it. So these challenges make us choose a career, and you know the rest of it. So the point is that when this tool is being so heavily used, we get into a habit of thinking constantly. Isn't that correct? So when we start to think constantly, we disconnect from the reality of this now. Like when we were small children, we were more or less living in the present moment, being in the environment where we were, happy in some places, sometimes not happy in some places. Schools were fun, but they were also a bore. So, all that. When the mind wants to look within itself, we face a challenge because the thinker himself is analyzing what he thinks. And this internal talk is not easy for a few people, but for some it's a habit. They do question themselves and look within how they think and why they think. In our brain, we have a very important section of the neurons which are called mirror neurons. Now, these mirror neurons are there because they help us to learn from others. But these mirror neurons also can sometimes make us realize our own thinking because it's acting like a mirror within our own brain. So we become the analyzer of our own analysis. So we question our own selves. So we have the capacity, it's a natural capacity in our brain to question ourselves, to question our beliefs, and to question our judgments. That is how we learn a lot of things. Oh, I was wrong there. Now, that simple, humble statement has made us take many correct decisions in life. Oh, this I have not learned, but I can if I do this thing according to this person who's doing it because he's good at it. So if he teaches me how he did it, I can also do it. So this is the function of learning, and mirror neurons play a very important part in this. So the ability for us to question our own thinking is the start of the process of meditation. So we are going to question why we think the way we think. And this is a very internal process. Most of the anxiety which we create in our minds is because we have a thinking pattern which repeats all the fears which we have dealt in life in past, and we constantly think about these things. The process of meditation is to take a step back, question this process. We have to question the very process of thinking unnecessarily. Now, it's not easy because when we are in stressful situations or when we are in situations where life has posed a challenge or we are going through a situation where there are many insecurities or there is a pressure to perform or we have targets. So different kinds of situations keep us occupied because we are internally planning what to do. Nature has given us a gift to sleep. So that rests the mind and it also rests the body. And we are able to attend to work and other things after that rest. So that is why sleep is extremely important. And we humans, fortunately, we get good sleep. We have safe houses, most of us. And then our environment is not threatening that we can't fall into deep sleep. So deep sleep serves the purpose in the brain of resting it and keeping it fresh. So it's a very important thing to sleep well and to feel relaxed. But when we are awake, we get back into the process of thinking repetitively and a certain pattern, because that's our personality. We think in a certain pattern, that is what gives us a personality. So we're coming back to mirror neurons. We have to question the very learning or the registry entries or the way we have conditioned our thinking. Now, most of it might be good, but there are some basic errors, especially emotional errors. If you observe, you will be thinking a lot about your hurts or criticizing yourself or wanting to change things in the past by behaving differently. These are certain patterns which are very common. And this patterned thinking is harming the very relationships or the situations which we want to improve. Because I have a certain behavior which is based on certain judgments and prejudices, biases. But the process of meditation is a process of freeing oneself from one's own conditioned responses. Because at the end of the day, if I stop reacting everything which is happening in my old patterned way, I will be making a change. And if I see some good strength in that change, then I will follow it. Now, meditation is the process which starts this questioning. And this questioning has to start within ourselves. You heard a lot. Take a little step back, because we need to make this process a bit slow, a bit more relaxed. Because if we observe our thinking, we will realize that we are always in this process, and it's all coming from our past experiences. A lot of times we are thinking about hurts, a lot of times we are thinking about our good times in life. We are planning certain things. But life does not go as per a plan. It has an energy of its own. Time unfolds in a very different way than what we assumed it to be. So the point is, can we give ourselves some time away to find this inner, simple, peaceful space which might be very natural once we start to do this practice. Like any sports or exercise, like you go for a walk, the first day is a little tough. Then slowly you build your stamina, you start to walk, and then you start to enjoy the feelings which it generates in the body afterwards. Your hunger is better, your sleep is better, you feel better. The hormones which exercise releases, the neurotransmitters it is going and triggering, they're all joyous and happy because the body is feeling relaxed. It tends to feel healthier also. In the similar manner, when we take a break from thinking, the brain gets the vital energy which is being used up by this constant thinking, because thinking is also invoking emotions. Please understand, thinking is a very powerful process in the brain. It uses up a lot of energy. Now, we want to conserve this energy for other areas of the brain to experience or to come to life. So, that is the core objective of meditation, that we need to conserve the energy used by thinking, and the subsequent emotions and anger or anxiety or desires, all these feelings, they consume a lot of energy. We need to just conserve it for some time. Once we conserve this, there is a freshness, there is a, let's say, a kind of aliveness which automatically resolves a lot of the negative emotions which we are generating. So, we are attacking the root of negativity, of negative emotions, of anxiety. We're going to the root cause of it. So, meditation is a beautiful art. It's not psychotherapy that thoughts come and calm some thoughts. Oh, look at life like this, it will be okay. No, that's fine. That's the start. Positive thinking helps you to think positively. But meditation takes it a step further. It attacks the very root cause of most of the anxiety, most of the depression, most of this feeling of loneliness, helplessness. All these feelings, all these emotions are being generated by the thinking process, which we do not realize because it's very subtle. We do not realize, but we are thinking about depressing things. We are thinking about our anxiety in things which make us feel anxious. So it's the thinking which is thinking about being anxious. So we need to disconnect from this habit. So today, you got the basic idea of meditation. Your attention span is limited. Take a break. And then we will continue this. And we will talk about this, because it's a process which needs a constant reminder. Like any exercise or healthy habits, we have to do it in a routine manner. We have to pay a little attention to this. Give yourself some alone me time and disconnect from this process, because it's not easy. Like any exercise, it takes a while to slowly get into the groove where you start to build a certain awareness level. You'll slowly start to catch yourself thinking very subtly. You'll become aware of your own conditioned responses and reactions. And slowly, once you realize, oh, I'm being so stupid, things correct themselves. So the catch is to realize our own errors is the very process of correcting them. So that's the beauty of this art. The realization that, oh, this is an error, corrects it. It's as simple as that. And when the brain gets this energy as it was naturally designed, and thoughts are not using up so much of it, some very nice, healthy things happen within the brain. And that's for you to discover for yourself, because these are experiential things. You have to be healthy to feel it. You have to go for the walk for the body to benefit from it. You cannot sit in the house and say, oh, he's walking, I will gain. No. If I am talking, it is of no use to you. You have to do it yourself. So, do try, and we will continue, because slowly you'll have many questions and we will address them. And I am a simple person like you are. I tried this, it helped me, so I share with you. Thank you so much.